welcome you to the Breslin Student Event Center on the campus of Michigan State University for this Class D semifinal featuring the Raiders of DeTour and the East Catholic Chargers. And we welcome you back, or welcome you for the first time to the Breslin Center. Jim Shafran and Frank Plecas calling this one for you. And Frank, a couple of teams who haven't met each other since the finals back in the 1986 finals, where East Catholic won it 59-39. Many of those young men are now parents and out in society right now. But these two teams have a lot to be proud of. The East Catholic has a huge record this year, only 2 losses, and DeTour 21-4, but 15 in a row after a 6-4 start.
Yeah, East Catholic came out of the tough Catholic League in Detroit, and you know, as we saw in the C game, people come in with a lot of power in these lower divisions out of the Catholic schools. And DeTour, on the other hand, their program's been red hot the last 3 years. They were to the semis last year, and they've been a real strong program, and they're at the position they want to be. They've got an experienced ball club coming in against a very tough East Catholic team.
Co-champs of the Eastern Upper Peninsula Conference at 8-2, and there are the officials: Kenneth McKee, Terry Wilbrock, and Thomas Whiting. But Scott McLeod brings in a team that only graduated 1 senior. No, they didn't hold anybody back, but there was only 1 senior on the team last year. He brought 1 senior, 7 sophomores, 2 juniors, and a freshman to their game against Tri-Unity. Tri-Unity, by the way, won the other bracket here. And so, if there's motivation for payback, it's for DeTour to win today and meet the team that knocked them out of the semis last year. East Catholic, on the other hand, champions of the Catholic League, and they have a young man by the name of Andrew Mitchell averaging 23 points, 20 points a game, I should say, and he is one of the best to ever come out of East Catholic.
Well, and when you talk about programs with a tradition, East Catholic's coming in here with 7 big ones, 7 state championships, and that's a tradition.
Well, right now, though, everybody is being asked to rise, and they are being, well, the introductions of the players will follow the national anthem, and so we'll have it one more time for you. Got to tell you about DeTour, though. They've got an all-stater in Randy Faustin. He's a 6'6", 260-pound senior. He'll be playing some college basketball up at Lake Superior State. He is an all-stater on the AP All-State Class D team. And you'll like what you see with him and his running mates as well. And right now they're going to introduce the starting lineups, and we'll tell you a little bit about the players. Frank, you take a look first of all at DeTour, and Randy Faustin has a lot of young men around him that really have helped all season. Faustin, a great young man in that he plays inside and outside, but there's more to this team than just Randy Faustin.
Well, they can go, you know, Kurt Miller, he handles the basketball. They need a lot of team effort. East Catholic's going to put a lot of individual pressure on them. They've got to share the ball. They've got to have at least 2 or 3 people that can get and break down the defense with dribble penetration.
And then you take a look at the starters for East Catholic, and you know they've got some size up front as well. Number 52, Jabari Hendricks at 6'3", 230 pounds, and Mark Harkins at 6'7", 240. And they complement Andrew Mitchell exceptionally well. Hendricks is their leading rebounder with 12 a game, and they have only two players in the starting lineup that score in double figures, but that doesn't really make a whole lot of difference because of the fact that they get it inside and outside. And we talked to Scott McLeod, the DeTour coach, a little while ago, and he is very concerned about handling the pressure and the quickness of East Catholic, and that means everybody's going to have to step up, and decisions are going to have to be made in many cases a lot quicker than in other games.
Well, he feels that Randy Faustin can play with anybody inside, but he's got to worry about getting the ball up the floor, beating the trap, and then getting it to Faustin. He's going to have to bring Faustin out sometimes to help out. They're going to extend a lot of energy, and they can be taken out of their offense. They've got to be able to break down that defense with the dribble, and that's usually the bottom line against that good pressure defense.
You know, East Catholic's 2 losses this year have come to Orchard Lake St. Mary's, who was a was a Catholic League finalist, losing out to Catholic Central. Lost to them by 1 point, and a Class B team that spends an awful lot of time in Class A and a perennial power up until a few years ago, and that is Highland Park, and they lost by 3 to them. And so very conceivably we could have come in with the undefeated East Catholic Chargers, but that's not going to happen this year. And East Catholic's last trip to the finals, as we mentioned, was when they beat DeTour back in 1986. Dave Souls, in his 25th year as the head coach at East Catholic, has won 459 games for the Chargers. And a man who doesn't say a whole lot. He lets his players do the talking, and they're right out on the floor right now, wearing the white uniforms with the green trim, and DeTour with the red stop sign, with stop sign red uniforms, and of course the white numerals. That's in case you are listening on the radio or listening on the telephone, if you will, or you have your back turned. Turn around and watch this one. We are underway, and it's quickly into the hands of Mitchell, and the first shot of the game is no good, and Faustin with a rebound. Start that break now with Kurt Miller. Great cross-court pass.
Well, Faustin is a mountain out there at 6'6", 260 pounds. You can imagine what he looks like.
Miller, Galloway, back out to Andy Ellis, and Ellis gets the roll. Andy Ellis is not going to get you a whole lot of points, but everything he does is not necessarily going to always show up on the score sheet.
Well, he's one of those people that hangs around, and all of a sudden you pick it up at the end of the game, and he's got a couple buckets that hurt you and a couple loose balls, and there's the pressure, and they get that penetration. It's going to create problems.
And Randy Faustin will pick up the foul, and that'll send Mark Harkins to the free throw line. Harkins, not the epitome of free throw shooters. He's a 33% foul shooter coming into the game. He's a senior, 6'7", 240 pounds.
Yeah, we're talking Class D, but we've got ourselves a 6'6", 260-pound and 6'7", 240-pound centers, and they're going to lean on each other. And right now, Faustin picks up the foul. He can't do that today.
Neither one, but it's grabbed inside by Hendricks. Jabari with the second chance, and he gets the first 2 of the basketball game for East Catholic. He's a 13.2 points per game a man for the Chargers. Kurt Miller now will try it against Mitchell. That is not an easy task, because Mitchell's as good a defender as he is an offensive weapon for East Catholic.
Well, Mitchell's got that great quickness, and they're going to try to deny the ball and make it start somewhere else.
And they got it in the hands of Wesley Watts, and the 6'1" junior puts DeTour back up top, 4-2. Very early into this one, a minute 15 into it. Mitchell changes direction with his body, and the shot goes down. Mitchell, 20.3 points a game, gives him 5 rebounds, and is one of their top free throw shooters at 69%. Faustin now tries to get around Hendricks. He may have a little more quickness than Hendricks will.
Yeah, but they just need Hendricks to bang inside. Faustin's got to come and help with the basketball. They're going to make him spend a lot of energy out there.
Watts tried to get it inside and did, but the shot by Faustin was no good. And here comes East Catholic trying to take another lead. Andrew Mitchell.
Well, DeTour feels they play excellent team defense, but what East Catholic will do to you is they'll isolate, they'll break you down, and get that one-on-one play where you can't come over and help.
Still loose, thrown up wildly that time by Ball, or rather by Lawrence Hall. Comes back out in the middle. Josh Galloway with it. Want to make sure we say it correctly, but Josh is a 5'8" junior. Helping out on the rebounding side right now. Faustin, he waits for traffic to move. He'll get the offensive rebound, tried the dish off, but actually looked like he wanted to take the shot. The ball ended up in the hands of Galloway, only because he was fouled, and will go to the free throw line. And the foul will go on Andrew Mitchell, his first.
Yeah, the question you have is, DeTour feels they've been on the big floor enough, but Faustin at 260 pounds, they're going to make him get up and down the floor, play hard defense at the one end, and then have to help out on offense full court the other way.
Those we have talked to said that this team, especially in the tournament, could have put teams away a little bit sooner if they had put their free throws down. And Faustin splits the pair and gives DeTour a 5-4 lead.
Well, DeTour's been here before, and we've talked about that, and it means a lot. They're not in awe. They've got themselves in a position where they can do some damage, and they've come to do it.
Andrew Mitchell tries the 3-0, but the Hendricks rebound, he tries to go back up. They force the jump ball, and the alternate possession arrow points toward DeTour. 5:12 to go in the first quarter. DeTour 5 and East Catholic 4.
Well, Galaroy just absolutely, showed the quick hands, got right in there, tied him up.
And quicker hands there by Hall and Ball, who knocked the ball off of one of the DeTour players.
Well, you never argue with those calls because that's right in front of the DeTour bench. And
Hendricks inside, and he gets his second basket. So it's a 6-5 game. This time East Catholic with the lead. Kurt Miller starts the offense, double team, but a good job there by Vats to pick it up.
Well, the thing is, DeTour has to regroup after they get past that press, because what they do is get you out of your offense.
Galaroy gets it inside Faustin. It'll count if it goes. It doesn't want to. But Randy will go back to the free throw line where he split his first two, and he'll try to tie the game, give him the lead again with 4:41 to go in the first quarter. Harkins is the one who picks up the call. That's Mark Harkins' first foul and the second team foul on East Catholic.
Well, Faustin has that great agility for 6'6", 260. He moves around, got the light feet, and you're seeing more and more of that where the big guy that normally was kind of cloudy has that athletic ability and just can do most things that anyone else can do.
He's got 3 of their 7, and they lead it 7-6. 4.5 to go first quarter here at the Breslin Center on the campus of Michigan State. Well, that was just quick, and that's what you expect. Andrew Mitchell, they've got to contain Mitchell, so Scott McLeod told us, and that's a hefty task in and of itself. Faustin back in the middle of Miller, the penetration, but a nice good cutoff that time by Mark Harkins.
Well, East Catholic, as soon as they get that basketball, they know right where Mitchell is, because that's where the game starts.
That one didn't work, though, for Andrew Mitchell, whose brother Andre, a graduate of East Catholic, is over on the sideline helping out Dave Souls as well.
Well, Mitchell got excellent penetration, lost control of the ball on the way up.
Inside to Faustin, off the glass, no, he keeps it alive. Smartly gets away after the first offensive rebound because, well, Harkins had some good inside position, so did Hendricks. Mitchell handles it out up on top against Galaroy. Starts his drive, throws it up off the glass, and it's sweet enough to fall down for his third basket, and it makes it a 10-7 East Catholic lead.
Well, East Catholic's just isolating Mitchell up there in a one-on-one situation because they put 4 men on the baseline and force you to spread out.
Vats gets it back out to Miller, who'll start the offense from there. Mitchell all over him, doing a good job, as we mentioned, both ends of the floor. Wes Vats looks at the basket, but a lot of white shirts there with green trim, and that time Kurt Miller found a little bit of a space, and the 13-point per game scorer gets his first 2 of the contest and makes it a 10-9 Charger lead.
Well, that's how you break down the good man-to-man defenses, with dribble penetration. Forced to help in that situation. There was no help out of East Catholic. Easy layup. 2:40 to go first quarter. 10-9 East Catholic. A couple of DeTour substitutions shortly. Hendricks delivered it beautifully to Mitchell. That cross-court pass got it right to where it had to go. Mitchell has his 4th basket. It was actually Hall on the dish, and Mitchell knew what to do with it. It is now 12-9 East Catholic. Now East Catholic's doing a good job of moving Mitchell around, getting him in different spots on the floor, letting him attack from different angles. This is Galaroy now inside to Ellis, and Ellis will draw the foul and go to the line, and we'll see if both subs will come in, or one will have to wait because Ellis goes to the line. Well, the thing that DeTour is doing so well is they're taking the basketball, and they're using penetration, dribble penetration. That's keeping them in the ball game. It's also going to create fouls. It's already got you know, the big Harkins out of the ball game with a couple fouls, and that's what you have to do to a team that's quicker than you, is try to get them to chase you and do some negative things.
Jeremy Woods has checked into the basketball game. There'll be one more substitution after Ellis is done at the line. Jerome Washington has taken Harkins' place, as Frank mentioned, his second foul. Second one by Ellis is on the board, and it's a 12-11 lead for East Catholic. Now we'll get Joey Barrett, who will check into the game for DeTour. Ellis will sit, as we mentioned. So Barrett and Woods, the two substitutions for the Raiders, and Washington wearing number 44 in there for Dave Soul's team.
DeTour goes to a zone here. They want to mix it up a little bit and not let East Catholic get too comfortable. I'll guarantee you that Mitchell's going to wander all over in that zone, try to look for something that he can get the ball and create problems.
Woods was his defensive assignment. A little push off on the rebound underneath, and it may be on Hendricks. Let's see what the call is, and indeed it will be on Jabari Hendricks. That's his first, and that'll kick it up to 4 team fouls on East Catholic, and a chance again with this possession for DeTour to take another lead.
Hendricks 6'3", 230. I mean, they got some big boys in there to counteract that size that DeTour has.
Kurt Miller now will move it up against Raphael Ball. Now back to Faustin, had it stolen, but stolen back by Miller. There's a lot of guys in the backcourt that time. We'll get a holding call on East Catholic. That's going to be their 5th team foul. And Lawrence Hall will pick up his first. So conceivably, Frank, with one more, they could essentially be shooting the 1-and-1 the entire second period. Now we'll get a quick other substitution. Doug Rhodes will come in, and he's going to replace, let's see, Washington was just in there, but they're going to take Washington out.
Well, you see that handling the ball is becoming an adventure for DeTour. Right now, they've got to solve the riddle of getting this ball going, because the last couple touches, and that's a big second foul right there on Faustin.
Well, he tried to make up for what he tried to keep a turnover from actually occurring. He picks up the second team foul on DeTour, and both of them belong to Randy Faustin. And now if you're Scott McLeod, what do? You just have to hope he's smart enough to be able to stay out of his third foul.
Oh yeah, you can't take him out right now. And the thing is that East Catholic's getting a lot of touches of the ball, little pieces of it, shaking it loose, and DeTour's got to get a little more confidence handling the ball.
And Mitchell answers that turnover with a basket of the three-point variety. He has 11 of their 15. They lead by 4 with a minute to go in the first quarter. Miller throws it away. Here comes Mitchell. Mitchell splits the defense once, splits it twice, delivers it beautifully, but that would not go, but the tip does. Lawrence Ball gets his first 2 of the game, and it's 17-11 now in favor of East Catholic. 40 seconds to go. They need a solid possession with a basket here.
Well, you see East Catholic get a lot of offensive rebounds because they know that when Mitchell has the ball, he's going to try to penetrate. And East Catholic picks up another foul. Who picked that one up? I didn't.
Hall picked up his second, and that'll take it up to 16 fouls. So that means, as you all know, on the 7th foul and the 8th foul and the 9th foul, they shoot 1-and-1. So they'll be shooting free throws the rest of the first half. Now back in the basketball. No, first time in the basketball game, the 6-foot freshman Peter Thompson will check in. And Andy Ellis will come back in the game, and they'll sit Faustin now for a little while because
well, they'll sit him the rest of the quarter, get him back in to start the second quarter. Don't get a cheap one right here, you know, trying to pick something off.
Get it back down to Votz, who's checked back into the game along with Ellis. And Ellis almost lost that one, or rather Thompson almost lost it. Off to Miller now. Looks like they're forcing him to play for the last shot. This is where those decisions have to come a little bit quicker. Quickly off the baseline. That did not go for Thompson. And now playing for the last shot, East Catholic. And Hendricks, Mitchell, who's done it all, does it again. He has 13 first quarter points. Let's see, from midcourt, Miller short of the front iron. And so after one, it is East Catholic 19 and DeTour 11. Played them close for the first couple minutes, Frank, but the defense has turned into points for East Catholic.
Yeah, they're building that momentum, and also Mitchell is just too quick for anybody to handle. Even going to that zone, he comes down, he isolates on someone within the zone, gets the dribble penetration, and then finds someone else or scores himself.
You know, one of the programs sponsored by the Michigan High School Athletic Association, which truly underscores the value of educational athletics, is the Scholar Athlete Award, sponsored by Farm Bureau Insurance. 24 young men and women have been selected as recipients of the $1,000 college scholarships. Mark Swart of Holland High is the recipient of this year's scholarship in boys basketball. Students interested in applying for the Scholar Athlete Award for 1997-98 should contact their high school principal. First quarter shooting, DeTour 3 out of 7. That's 43%. 9 of 17 for East Catholic, and that is about 53%. Rebounds actually 8 to 4 in the first quarter. 8 for East Catholic, 4 for DeTour. But the turnover story, Frank, again, 5 turnovers, 4 points. Could have been more, but and 2 turnovers for East Catholic.
Well, the thing is that East Catholic's doing is they're taking advantage of most possessions. You know, they're shooting 53%, but their percentage of coming down the floor and getting the ball in the hole in that possession is a lot higher than that. They've done a good job on the offensive boards. They've done a good job of getting dribble penetration. On the other hand, DeTour, that pressure defense is building on them, and you watch East Catholic adjust the defense to get into the flow of what DeTour wants to do. They're starting to get a lot of touches on the ball.
And Andrew Mitchell, 6 out of 10 from the field in a 13-point first quarter performance. Talk about touches, Frank. Their big guy scores 23 points a game. Randy Faustin only had 3 shots attempted, and he didn't make any of them. 3 out of 4 from the line and 3 rebounds, but he also has a couple of fouls. So then,
well, the thing that happens, and DeTour was concerned about it coming into the ball game. Faustin's strong inside and he can score, but you got to get him the ball in that position. That means someone's got to bring it to him, and that's a tough job.
Michael White is in the basketball game. He and Doug Rhodes and Andrew Mitchell. Jabari Hendricks and Raphael Ball. That's the 5 out there. We'll check the Raider 5 in just a second. This will be a 3 if it goes, and it does. Andrew Mitchell on fire. He has 16 already, and that gives East Catholic a 22-11 lead. 30 seconds into it, and Randy Faustin can run the floor. We were told that before the game. He shows it right there.
Well, I tell you, he saw that seam. He looked like a runaway freight train. Nobody's going to step in and take that charge on him.
Rhodes will hold it outside. Now goes up top to Mitchell, right side to Doug once again. His penetrating right-handed jumper will go off the very soft rims here at the Breslin Center. We noticed that earlier in the day. We've noticed it in the past. Nice soft rims.
Well, DeTour's made an adjustment on breaking their press, and we'll have to see what East Catholic does to counter that.
Nice fade by Oliver, or rather by Ellis. And Andy Ellis has 6 points. He's their leading scorer now. Boston has 5 and a couple apiece for Miller and Vance. So it's 24-15 East Catholic. They've got the ball. At the foul line, White. Off to Doug Rhodes. He penetrates again and follows and can't fill that one. Hendricks puts it back up. He won't get it to go. And right down on the baseline, he'll get another shot at it as it goes off of one of the Raiders and out of bounds.
I tell you, Faustin took a chance at number 3 right there, too. He did not have good position. He went for the block. Luckily, he got a piece of that basketball.
Now Mark Harkins will come back in the lineup, and Michael White will sit down. And also Ellis will take a chair for Scott McLeod's team, and back in the basketball game is Joey Barrett, number 41. 24-15, East Catholic's got the ball, and Mitchell tries to get that one down. A lot of shots in that particular possession, but Faustin finishes off all of those shots with his own rebound.
Well, we're at the point right here where East Catholic can make a run on them and open this up and almost make it insurmountable early. On the other hand, DeTour's got to make sure every possession they get a quality shot.
Kurt Miller will back it away from the basket. Bounce pass right side, Wes Votts. Oh, and you can see the man who provides the offense does provide some defenses. Mitchell did a great job on that baseline.
Well, East Catholic does a great job of rotating on their press. They go and get the trap on, and everybody rotates hard, and it looks like someone's open. All of a sudden, there's a defender there.
Miller will handle it. Votts cannot find the red shirt. Now he gets it to Faustin. And like you said, Frank, he got it right to him in a position where he really couldn't afford to miss the shot, and he had a good one.
Well, that's a good adjustment that DeTour has made. They've adjusted their press breaker. They've been able to get the ball and then, do some nice ball handling with it and get people open, get it where they want it.
Harkins off that back iron. Good rebound that time by Galeroy. Faustin has it now, right sideline. Galeroy right up top. Miller, he's open for the three. It's a back iron miss, but comes right down to Andrew Mitchell.
Yeah, and you watch Mitchell start getting involved in the offense. Right now, he's been the feeder rather than the penetrator, or rather than the dealer, and he's got to get back into it.
Great hustle job that time by Joey Barrett. Stuck with it all the way, went off of one of the Chargers and out of bounds. Raider basketball down 7, 24-17 with 5:01 to go in the first half.
Well, this is the poise of DeTour, the team that's already been here. They were here last year. They know what it feels like. They get behind, but they've done the things they've had to do to come back in.
Now Jerome Washington now checks back into the basketball game for the Chargers. Faustin made sure that ball wouldn't go back the other way. No help. Now he gets it. He'll start his drive. Dish off Barrett. Little short J. His first two for Joey Barrett. And they've cut the lead to 5 with 4:40 to go here in the first half. 24-19 East Catholic.
Well, nice job by Faustin to get the dribble penetration, break the defense down, and get the dish.
Andrew Mitchell. Looks like they've changed up on the defense. Looked like a little bit of a zone. Long gun left side. That'll be a deuce for Ball. And Raphael Ball just gives him about 3 points a game, gives him 2 more, and it's 26-19.
Well, DeTour switched to the zone a while back, but what happened is the alignment for East Catholic has changed a little bit, and they've moved Mitchell up to the top and trying to get some shooting from the perimeter.
Oh, Faustin ran right into his own man, and that one bounced right off the leg of Kurt Miller, so they'll reset the offense as they'll give it to East Catholic out of bounds. Too many guys in one area that time. Faustin went after the basketball and bumped into his own man, or his own man just got in the way of the pass.
Well, the thing that happens when you're a pressing team and a gambling team, you'll get those streaks where you'll kick the ball loose, and you got to take advantage of it. Now they've moved Mitchell back over to the wing, and he is just absolutely tenacious.
19 points. That is his third three-pointer of the basketball game. He kicks it up to a 10-point lead all by himself. 3:40 to go in the first half. Tried to get that one to Barrett on the baseline, and he got away from him.
Well, what East Catholic has done, their adjustment on the press, is that they were getting the ball into the Faustin at the high post, or actually up toward the middle of the floor. They've adjusted now where they stay in front of them and they don't leave them until they have the trap on. Then they rotate real hard. They've done an excellent job the last couple possessions of shaking the ball loose.
That is their 7th turnover of the basketball game for DeTour. 29-19 East Catholic the lead in the ball. Mitchell left side. Barrett comes out to say hi. Harkins just took that ball, was wide open, and just let it fly. And Mark only gives him a basket and a half or so a game, but bottom line is he's got 2, and they've gotten points from everybody in the starting lineup. Tried to feed it on the baseline, yet another turnover in the hands of Harkins, and now back in the hands of the dangerous Andrew Mitchell. Doug Rhodes, cross-court pass. That'll be a 3 for Ball if it goes, and it is no good. Faustin with a rebound, and that's 6 rebounds for Randy Faustin. Quickly.
Well, East Catholic's done a great job, Jim, of adjusting their defense, and they've got the veteran coach. They know what they're looking at, and as soon as you make an adjustment, it doesn't take him too long to adjust back.
12-pointer, 31-19. East Catholic the lead in the ball with 2.5 to go in the first half.
Now they're going to bring Mitchell over to the wing, and that just exposes everything on his side.
Ball from up top, and the 3 ball for Raphael Ball. Gets him his 5th points, and right now, Scott McLeod's seen enough, because this has been a quarter in which East Catholic has scored 15 of the 23 points that have been scored in this basketball game.
Well, DeTour had settled down real nice to start the second period here, but now you saw East Catholic go and shake the ball loose on that press, and they've had an incredible percentage, Jim, of taking the ball away and coming down and converting it to 2 or 3 points.
Yeah, 9 times off a turn, 9 points off of the turnovers. They've only turned it twice. They protected it. Mitchell already 8 out of 14 with 19 points. Faustin with 7, their leading scorer, and he has had to take 6 shots to make 2. And actually right now, Frank, East Catholic is shooting a lesser percentage, but they have taken, check this out, 18 more shots than has DeTour.
And that was the point I was trying to make earlier. They've scored most possessions down the floor. It may take a shot and 2 offensive rebounds, to do it, but they're getting the ball in the hole. When you've got 18 more shots, you're getting a heck of a lot of offensive rebounds. So plus you're getting a lot of steals.
Yeah, indeed.
Well, you can figure, what did they get? How many steals they have?
You're asking, we'll have to wait on that stat.
Well, you don't. Oh, they flipped the page on you?
We're not seeing.
Well, how many turnovers?
Yeah, they've got 8 turnovers, so I'd say probably 6 of them are on steal.
But if DeTour has 8 turnovers, that means they've got 10 offensive rebounds. East Catholic does.
Yeah, that's true.
Well,
we'll get back into this one, see if they can get back into this one a little bit before the halftime. Miller runs the baseline and is blocked in doing so. Jerome Washington picks up a foul. It seemed like quite a while ago, Frank, we were talking about 16 fouls on East Catholic. That was about 38 seconds to go in the first quarter, and that's the first foul that they have committed here in the second quarter.
Yeah, they've stepped it up on defense, rotated a little harder. What they were doing, they're getting caught a half a step behind. They were committing the foul. Just a little harder rotation, anticipated a little more, and you get there sooner, you don't commit the foul. And right there, as soon as the foul was committed, you saw the player point to himself, my fault. He knew.
Kurt Miller has a bucket. Cannot get that one to go, and that's what we were told. They were having trouble on the front ends of the 1-and-1s and putting people away in the early stages of this tournament.
Yeah, those things really come to haunt you. Come down in a big ball game like this. In order to beat East Catholic, everything's got to go right.
So far, it has not. Great penetration by Ball that time. Harkins gets it back out up on top to Hall. He can't get it to go, but the follow, no. Those offensive rebounds. We'll check that stat for you at halftime. See offensive rebounds and those second chance points, which usually come on the tail end of it. Votz has it. Double team though, and he actually triple teamed him, and as he tried to deliver the pass to Thompson that time, it went out of bounds. So 1:33 remain in the first half, and it's 34-19 East Catholic.
Yeah, you don't want to bring that ball down into the corner, and then they're going to seal you off. You can't go anywhere in the baseline, can't go anywhere behind you, and it really limits your passing area, and you can see where they just shake the ball loose on you.
Yeah, Scott McCloud's going to try Andy Ellis again. That one right off the foot of Mitchell, but a good job by Ball, who chased it down.
I actually think it was off the defender's foot, but either way, they came back with the ball. They're going to run it down right here. They're going to go in 15 up or more.
Saw them do that in their victory over Harley Redeemer for the Catholic League title, and that was one of the teams they beat on the way to the Breslin Center in the state tournament. They were in that district.
Now, it's going to be a different game when Mitchell's got that ball in the middle looking for the penetration.
40 seconds to go. Mitchell the penetration. He'll throw up the rainbow off the back iron. Faustin with a rebound. They need one here. Votz gets it to Miller. Looks like they're going to play for the last one, but watch Mitchell play defense. Miller.
Mitchell's one of those people that never gets tired either. You know, he flies around, handles the ball on offense, plays all that defense. You say, when you're going to run out of gas, and his tank always seems to be full.
Faustin forces his way in. No, he'll get the offensive rebound basket. His third basket of the quarter. 7 seconds to go. Mitchell's got it. We'll see what he'll do with it. Finds a little bit of a space, forces it at the horn. The front iron caught the basketball, but We are done with one half of play from the Breslin Student Event Center at Michigan State University, and the team in green has themselves a 13-point lead. It's East Catholic 34 and DeTour 21, and we'll be back with third quarter action, and that includes the first half stats when we continue from the Bres in just a moment. Jim Shafran, Frank Plecas back with you at halftime at the Breslin Center, where Detroit East Catholic has done the things that have gotten them to this wonderful record that they have accumulated. Only 2 losses on the season, and they have a 34-21 lead. Well, right now, though, we want to tell you, you've got the Star Wars collection, you got the Godfather collection. Well, what about some sports in your video library? Well, it's all available. Not only the ones for the semifinals and finals here at the Breslin Center this weekend, but there's also boys soccer and there's football and girls basketball, girls competitive cheer, Lower Peninsula girls volleyball, Lower Peninsula individual wrestling highlights, boys basketball, hockey, and soccer. If you're missing something, give them a call. Advanced Video Service, 810-793-8889. Or if you know what you want, just drop a check for $24. It'll be postpaid to Advanced Video Service, 5547 Columbiaville Road, Columbiaville, Michigan, 48421. And if that isn't George Baja hype, I don't know what is. The coach and the chef and Frank, I tell you, East Catholic didn't take them long to figure out what they had to do to just kind of run away.
Well, you're also in the position here that DeTour's got to come out and make something happen. They got to get it down to single digits. They're sitting here 13 points behind, and they got to bring it down, then get it into that 8 or 7 range to get things steadied. They allow East Catholic to come out and run a 6 or 7 spot on them right away. There's magical numbers. One is the double digits. The next one is the number 15. You look up, you're 15 behind. It's a psychological number. The next one after that is 20. And usually you get 20 down, you're feeling kind of desperate.
First half stats look like this. DeTour 8 out of 15 for 53% from the floor. East Catholic was 15 out of 35 for 43%. Free throws, not a whole lot to discuss. 5 of 7 for DeTour. East Catholic is 0 for 2. Rebounding edge belonged to East Catholic, 15-10. And because we don't have a stat sheet up here, I can't give you offensive numbers, but I will when I can. Turnovers, just 2 for East Catholic, and they were not scored upon off of them. And DeTour, 9 turnovers, and they were scored upon 9 points worth and those 9 turns. And the three-point shooting, 4 of 7 for East Catholic and 0 for 2 for DeTour. So now,
well, high school basketball, Jim, the state finals is a tradition. You got to start them early, and they're starting them real early here. This is what you want to do. You bring them in, you get them hooked, and they come back. And I'll tell you, I've been coming for a lot more years than I care to admit, but I got hooked early, and that's what those young people are.
It is a weekend. You come up here and spend some time and see games of teams you don't even know. We have been thrilled. The 2 games that we haven't done today are probably 2 of the more exciting games you're going to see in any level of high school basketball, especially the semifinals.
Well, we'll see what adjustments DeTour did here. They got good penetration, didn't finish, and you got to finalize. You get those kind of opportunities.
Galeroy and Votz and Miller and Ellis and Faustin are out there for DeTour right now. Mitchell tries to get it inside and did in the hands of Faustin. Look at him go, run the court. Boy, Galeroy with a great job of keeping it in. And we mentioned Andy Ellis. I probably didn't mention Andy Ellis in telling you the starters from the early part of the game are back.
And I'm getting little voices from the truck, and they said, they got big country out west. Is that big peninsula down there for
Big Upper Peninsula, and then they have Big Continent, who plays out at I'm trying to remember St. Mary's College or somewhere out in California, big continent.
Well, there's some big people down there, in whether it be the Upper Peninsula or Lower Peninsula.
Yeah.
But what you see East Catholic doing is they lined up the 4 people on the baseline, and they just let Mitchell work that one-on-one, and he's just tough to stop, and it takes that team defense out of it.
21 points on 9 of 17 shooting in the basketball game. Miller inside to Faustin, and that's exactly what they've got to do. But I think, Frank, what they've got to do is that once they do it, they've got to do it without thinking. Anytime you start thinking, that's when the opposition has a chance to defend it.
Well, you want to score off your offense. You want to get the flow. That's what that trapping and gambling does. It gets you out of your rhythm.
Mitchell will handle the basketball against Galeroy that time and tried to start the drive, and we're going to catch a foul, and it will be a foul on number 25. That's Galeroy's first. And interestingly enough, that is only the 3rd foul of the basketball game on DeTour.
Well, DeTour plays that real good team defense, and they help each other. But when you get a Mitchell that just goes and spreads out and gets things going, and they just have a tough time dealing with his penetration.
Hendricks handles the basketball and puts it down. He has 6 points. Ellis, quick cross court. Miller for 3, and it'll be their first one if it goes. That's 0 for 3 from three-point. Oh, my. Harkins almost fell on Mitchell back there.
That would have been critical.
Yeah, at least. Maybe intensive care. 38-23, East Catholic with it. Pretty much in control since the latter stages of the first quarter, if not before that. Inside to Hendricks, and Jabari Hendricks posted him up inside. And as you mentioned, if Mitchell's not shooting it, he's doing the dishes.
Well, another thing, though, that, they backed off and take the ball out of Mitchell's hands, give him a rest every now and then on offense, and he never rests on defense.
Get a push off on Mark Harkins. That'll be 3 on Hark. And let's see if where they call it before the shot went up. And so Ellis will inbound the basketball for DeTour.
Well, they've slowly crept this thing up to 17 points. And if you ever needed a basket, it's right now. DeTour would sure like to go and pop one in.
And Miller's going to try to get 3 points back. That is no good. But the rebound comes down to Galeroy. Up top, Miller. They're giving him that 3. Galeroy looking inside. He's going to take the shot. It's a back iron miss. Tipped out to Mitchell. Mitchell will start it, but a good job. Nope, could not get it away from Mitchell. Wesley Votts kind of ran at him from behind. Now Harkins has it tipped by Faustin. And they force it in on the baseline, and that'll be a travel call. That is only the 3rd turnover of the basketball game. Make it the 4th turnover of the game for East Catholic.
Well, you saw him squeeze through traffic there, get himself on the baseline, and took that little extra step back in to get in position to shoot.
They'll let East Catholic play one of the C finalists, Borges. Would be quite a game if they let that happen. The folks from down in the metro area go at it again. The 2 Catholic League teams. Ellis on the baseline. Oh my, there was a lot of contact, and boy, I tell you, Mark Harkins really took a shot, and he hit the floor hard. Now Barrett will come back in the lineup for DeTour, and Galeroy will sit down. We'll get a substitution, I think. Yeah, Doug Rhodes is ready to check in for the Chargers.
Well, they're sitting there again with the 17-point deficit and another possession, and it's important here to bring something where you're going to get some points on the board and start getting that deficit down.
Give the defense something to think about. It goes outside where Wesley Votts will handle it.
Well, East Catholic's gone just a straight 2-3 zone and kind of keeping things moving, forcing them into that perimeter game.
Votts backs away from the basket. Ellis, this is one of those times where they're almost thinking too much, trying to react, and a double dribble call as Raphael Ball tried to bring it over the timeline. Apparently double dribble.
Yeah, he crossed over, picked it up, and they used to call it carrying the ball, but that's, you know, they amended that call because really what it is you're picking it up, stopping it, and then starting to dribble again, so they called it double dribble.
The heart and souls of East Catholic basketball for the last 25 years. Miller And his body bumped. He's going to try the second shot. It will not go. And back up by Faustin. He can't get it to go. And Hendricks rebounds to Mitchell. Mitchell finds a little bit of a, oh, look at that body control. And Andrew Mitchell is up to 23 points. And I tell you, Scott McLeod has shed the coat, and probably a few hairs in watching this one kind of, I was going to say unfold, but it is kind of just totally come apart.
Well, Mitchell sees that seam and he just explodes to it. He's got that great rhythm. He comes at you, he plays you at 25%, he plays you at 75%, and then all of a sudden, boom, it's 100% and it's in the hole.
Mitchell, a 69% free throw shooter, and he hits that one. So he's got 24 of their 43, and they lead it by that 20 margin, 43-23 with 3:43 to go in quarter three.
Those are big psychological numbers. You go and take it up to 40 or 20, and now you got to start thinking.
Barrett,
everything's an adventure, Jim. They've got them really scattered, and everything's an adventure.
Lawrence Hall with the layup. That one did not go, and the rebound comes down to Watts. Wes Watts will bring it up. Yeah, we'll give it to Miller now. Inside to Barrett. Barrett got his man to move, and they still can't get a shot down.
No, they've got them totally out of sync. They're trying things a little quicker than what they want to. And the only thing that's kind of saving them is East Catholic's getting a little sloppy at the other end.
Well, Mitchell has, he tried to deliver the pass to Hall, and that's off whose feet that basketball went and out of bounds, and so they'll take it back the other way.
Well, that's an interesting call because it actually came off of the East Catholic player and then hit the official and then went out of bounds. And but East Catholic was the last one to touch it. The official isn't part of the floor, or he is part of the floor, I guess.
Yep. Well, baseball, the umpire is part of the field. Peter Thompson handles the basketball, and now this steal will result in a Raphael Ball basket. He has 7, and the lead is now 45-23. Barrett, nice delivery to Thompson, and he finishes nicely with his first 2 of the game. The freshman Peter Thompson makes it a 45-25 game. Detroit East Catholic with 2.5 to go in the third quarter.
Well, that's one of those times that DeTour hit everything like you draw it on paper, and it works. But you can't go and prepare for the kind of quickness they're seeing against East Catholic.
Going to mention that. Great move inside. Hendricks could not get it to go. Faustin almost picked up his 3rd foul, but the rebound went down to Ball, and Mitchell will handle it up top against Kurt Miller.
I tell you, Ball's got some quick hands in there.
Hendricks, nice move on the baseline. Could not finish that time.
Yeah, he gave a good look to the inside and did drop step back and then just put her over the rim.
Miller, all sorts of penetration. And we get a block as he went to the hole, and that'll be Jabari Hendricks' 2nd foul. Well, I'll tell you, the Catholic Central big people will never be accused of having a lot of finesse, but they go in there and they come after you and they just beat you up inside.
The East Catholic big people do also.
What did I say?
Catholic Central. I think you've got that big Mr. Young in your mind from Catholic Central, the big horse.
It's all Catholic to me, Frank. East Catholic, in fact, we were talking a little bit earlier about the success that Dave Souls has had. He won 3 in a row from 79 to 81, and actually 3 out of 4 if you include 1983. And their last visit to the finals was in 1990, where they beat Covert 72 to 58.
Well, Dave Souls is one of those dedicated individuals. He chooses to work in an inner city Catholic school and work with the youth, and it's definitely an area of Detroit that has seen its share of hardship. But he's that kind of dedicated person that feels that's his calling, and he's had a lot of opportunities to leave, and he wouldn't think of it in a million years.
Well, Miller can't get that one to go. Oh, I'll tell you, nothing seems to be working after the first 5 minutes of this first quarter.
We saw the defense getting the rhythm again, and that's what happens when you get those good defensive teams. Once they get your pattern, once they get into your rhythm, they force you to adjust, and you get into things you're not comfortable with. You start making turnovers.
Doug Rhodes handling it up top. You can see Galleroy just playing all sorts of defense. That front iron miss comes down. That is the 9th rebound now. Excuse me, yeah, that is the 9th rebound for Faustin. He's got the ball, looks inside, nice pass, and finished nicely by Thompson. Thompson's second basket of the game comes off of Faustin's second assist of the game, and it is now a 45-28er in favor of East Catholic.
Well, Faustin does a good job of squaring up and looking and finding people, and he'll dish off. He's not a selfish player.
Miller, trouble, loses. Here comes Ball by himself. Now it goes left side, Mike Davis. Davis has it blocked by Faustin. Now Washington with a fade. He can't get it. Faustin's 10th rebound will result in Raphael Ball's first foul, and it'll be the 4th team foul on East Catholic.
Well, they're mounting a little bit of a comeback here. They had it up to 20, East Catholic did, and you see DeTour, they're battling back, and they've got to get something. They hit one here and then come back and have something positive happen right away to start that 4th quarter. They can get themselves back into it.
Galeroy up top, Miller. The delivery into Faustin. He forces his way in for his 3rd basket. His second basket of the quarter, I was going to say. He has 13 points to go with 9 rebounds, and cuts it down to 15.
Well, we saw in an earlier ball game, River Valley was 18 down going into that 4th quarter and end up winning the ball game. And there's a little steps and another opportunity come down. They get 3 seconds. They hit one here and get it down to 13, 12 points. It's gonna have a big effect on this game.
See if they can get a shot up. Miller, long range, almost put that down. And so, after 3 from Breslin, it's Detroit East Catholic 45 and DeTour 30. And I tell you, Frank, you sit back and you watch and you wait and you hope. And everything that DeTour has tried to do, East Catholic's had an answer for.
Well, DeTour has a lot of poise, though, and even though they've had the turnovers and things haven't gone their way, we've got people scurrying for the exits here, but they don't realize DeTour can come out. Looks like the possession is going to be East Catholic's, but they get a stop, come down, and get a bucket and work it back down into single digits. Anything can happen.
And that's just not to keep everybody interested. We talked about this during the game in which we really had no interest in, or the one that we were watching that you had mentioned, the first game, the second game in Class C, and it was a first-class game because of what had happened. And they just continue to come back and continue to come back. And Frank said, get it down to 5 and just watch the screws tighten, because it just makes you, and you keep using the word, the mental score.
Oh, there's no doubt about it. There's a big effect in your mind on believing that you can do something, and it also has a big effect on your shooting. When you're 15 up, that 15-foot jump shot's just a little nice stroke, and all of a sudden that you get 5 up, and the 12-shot jump shot is a challenge. So things really change mentally, but DeTour doesn't panic, and the key to coming back in a ball game is to go with what you believe in and let it happen. And that's what they're going to do. They get the ball down the middle, and they get the big guy taking the ball to the hoop like he did last couple times. It's going to create a lot of buckets for him.
And some folks from Cedarville and other locations around the Michigan area. M134 runs through Hessel and Cedarville, and wave when you go by. Frank Plecas knows the entire state of Michigan like the back of his hand, or the front of his hand.
Well, up there at Cedarville, Adrian Dutcher, some of you DeTour people have to know Adrian. His family's been over there in Cedarville forever. That's just down the road from DeTour.
Mitchell trying to get him off on the run in the first, fourth quarter, that is. And Andrew Mitchell now has 26 points. And Andrew Mitchell has 26 points, and DeTour has 30. And now an opportunity for that situation to change. Unfortunately, East Catholic will be doing the change in here. Well, that turnover happened awful quick. Doug Rowe just throws it up, and Faustin gets his 10th rebound.
That's his 11th. He got his 10th when he got fouled down there, and he's been big down there, and he is big. 6'6", 260 pounds.
Gets it left side, Thompson, and Thompson hits his 3rd basket, and Thompson is now 3 out of 4 from the floor. and it's 47-32, a minute into the fourth quarter.
But they can't trade with him. They got to start getting some stops, and they're going to go and spread things out and let Mitchell get his penetration again. And they hammer, and that's a tough project right there. Mitchell coming at you with the open floor.
We'll see. They will send him to the line. No, they will not send him to the line. It was before the offense got started. And now Jeremy Woods comes back in the basketball game. And Galeroy will check out. Josh Galeroy will go to the sideline.
Well, Jim, you talk about geography. If you've never been up there, it's absolutely beautiful from the Les Chenaux Islands on over to DeTour, and take that ferry over to Drummond Island and play a little golf at the Rock. And a lot of things happening in DeTour.
A lot of things happening here as well, as the Raiders trying to derail East Catholic a little bit right now, and they got to stop there due to a missed shot by Mitchell. Mitchell's put up 21 of their 50 shots.
Well, and he should. He just absolutely creates something for everyone.
Miller still trying to hit that elusive three. Can't get that one to go, and Raphael Ball comes down with it. 15-pointer with 6 minutes to go in the fourth quarter.
Well, don't be surprised if it gets down under 4 minutes. East Catholic just kind of spreads things out and nurses this one home.
Good penetration that time, and Mitchell could not get that one to go. They're coming again. Kurt Miller's going to take it all by himself, lays it up and in. Oh, Kurt Miller said none of this outside stuff this time down the floor. He's got his second bucket, and it's a 47-34 game with 5:34 to go in, 5:44 to go in the fourth quarter.
Well, East Catholic's gone back to that isolation game, and they take it out of Mitchell's hands, but don't be surprised to see them spread it out and take some time off here.
He drives, he lays it up, can't get it to go. Almost tipped in by Mitchell, by Hall. Here's Miller. He's going to try penetration. Now the foul line jumper does not go. Rose has the ball stolen, and Watts could not get it to go, and Hendricks with a rebound.
Well, that was a big miss, because that would have brought it down to 11. And DeTour, you know, they're just staying with you. I told you, they don't panic. The key to coming back in a ball game, don't panic, don't take stupid shots.
Mitchell now will take it up against Miller and go left side into number 22, Raphael Ball, who has a quiet 7 points. He's got it again, starts penetration, up over Faustin, hit it. Oh, Raphael Ball, great penetration.
Ball just a 5'10" sophomore, but he's going to be the heir apparent to Mitchell here when he graduates, because he's got that great penetration.
Watts triple teamed and has it ripped away, double teamed, has it ripped away by Jabari Hendricks. Probably seemed like there were 5 guys around him that time.
He turned around, he saw Hendricks, and he thought the lights went out, because Hendricks is about as big as a wall.
Ball goes left side. Rose, his 15-footer is a front iron miss to Mitchell. Mitchell will bring it out, kind of take a breath or two, and restart the offense and start to wear Kurt Miller out again. Look at this move. He got hit on top of the head as he started his drive. That'll be the third team foul on DeTour.
Well, see, I'm gonna talk about it again, Jim, because again, DeTour plays excellent team defense, but what East Catholic does to you, they isolate you with Mitchell. They put 4 people along the baseline, and they extend your defense. There's nobody who can come and help. If you come and help, Mitchell dishes, and he's outstanding at doing it, as he was right there.
Gets it inside to Hendricks. Great look inside. Hall could not finish. Here comes Miller. Miller has a man ahead. That's Thompson, but Miller does it again. Kurt Miller, the last 2 baskets for Kurt have come the same way, and that is, I'm coming, get out of my way.
Yeah, you got to get to the point in the game here where East Catholic's just going to go and start taking time off.
And right now, a 10-second call. You don't see that happening, especially with Mitchell, because guys like Mitchell have that little clock inside their head that says 10. And so DeTour now will call a timeout, hoping that a 3-pointer will get him down to 10 with 3:43 to go. They trail by 13, 49-36, and Mitchell continues to be on fire, though he's missed a few in the quarter. 11 of 23 from the field and 26 points.
Well, they're sitting here with a 13-point lead, and you know, it appears to be safe, but you can get hot from that three-point line. You can get this down in a hurry with a bucket, a stop, and a bucket, and all of a sudden it's a 7-point ball game. And you know, that's a tough ticket to ride.
And they've only put up 7 3-pointers in the basketball game. They've got 4. Mitchell's got 3, and Ball has 1. While DeTour has put up 7 as well, and they haven't put any of them down.
They got to get hot. They got to get it going.
Motion offense and just shooting as soon as they get a nice open shot. It's got to be tough. And we'll reiterate something you said a little while ago, something we talked to Scott McLeod about. You can practice all day long against anybody you want, but you just can't recreate quickness.
Yeah, you can't. That's the toughest thing. You can do things. You can put extra people on the floor in practice to try to let them know what it's going to be like, but you just can't duplicate those quick hands that are on you. And it's just tough to play against it, and until you experience it. And he said, I would love to come down and play the DePorreses and play East Catholic during the regular season to get ready. But, you know, it's just not feasible to come down from DeTour and take a, 300+ mile trip to go play somebody, but it's not going to happen.
Yep. All right, now let's see what happens out of the timeout. Botts, Miller for 3. Oh, can't get that one to go. They keep the basketball alive, and that time it went out of bounds off of one of the Raiders, and it will be East Catholic basketball.
That's one of those times you got to take it back up. You know you're in traffic. You got to hope for a foul or get it down, maybe even get 3 because someone hammers you.
Picking up now, half court or back court. Mitchell. Oh, Rhodes will start it, and right now, East Catholic will try not to get themselves in trouble offensively and just keep moving the basketball till they see something they like.
Yeah, I look for them. You want to come down and you're going to get an illegal screen here. Doesn't put anyone at the line. We've only had, that's the 8th foul of the half, 4 each way. And that's another problem DeTour is going to deal with because they don't have any fouls to go and put East Catholic to the line. And on the other hand, they have a difficulty getting anything to shoot.
Well, Josh Galleroy about ready to come back in for DeTour. But right now they want to answer this turnover with a basket. And that one is going to go right out of bounds. A hard pass, and Barrett couldn't come up with it because it just came away like a rocket.
Well, that's one of those things with that trapping zone, and you leave that back area alone, and it looks so open, and you can see somebody standing there, but it's a different deal to get him the ball over that trap and get it there with any touch on it.
2:49 to go, 4th quarter, our score. East Catholic 49 and DeTour 36. Doug Rose will handle it now, goes right back in the middle of the ball. There's the penetration, and it was rather easy for Doug Rhodes to get his 2nd basket of the game and put East Catholic up by 25.
You know, it's not good news for everybody else in D because, we're looking at Rhodes. He's only a junior. There's a lot of people coming back for East Catholic.
Andrew Mitchell.
Well, they've weathered the storm. This kind of was what they needed. A couple buckets, and you see Mitchell just finish up and do cleanup duty right here.
Faustin collapsed upon, so he loses the basketball. It's the 10th turnover for DeTour. Couple of different shots that time created by Lawrence Hall, and that'll send him to the line and give Randy Faustin his 3rd foul, I should say, of the game. And
well, one thing they did to Randy Faustin is they made him play the full 94 feet of this floor. You're on a college floor, and they said you're going to have to come and help break the press. You're going to have to run back on defense because we're going to push the ball down the floor on you. And they make the big kid play the whole floor. And even though they've been on big floors this season, you don't practice on one, you don't train on one, and you're not getting that conditioning that you need to play on one of these floors.
The pair is split, and that makes it a 52-36 East Catholic lead. 3 points for Lawrence Hall, and both teams have elected to leave their starters in. Galleroy can't get that one to go. Mitchell with a rebound. And he'll just take his time with 1.5 minutes to go. Mitchell with 26 points. That one finally fell.
I'll tell you, Raphael Ball can penetrate with the best of them. Both he and Rhodes, and you get 3 penetrators like Mitchell, Rhodes, and Ball. You're tough to defend. You just, just creates all kinds of quickness problems for you.
And he's gotten easy shots. He's 5 out of 7 from the floor. He's got 11 points, 4 rebounds. Jabari Hendricks with 8 points and 10 rebounds. And right now, Andy Ellis will come back in, and Botts will sit, but that'll be a chance for Andy Ellis to get another shot at it. Thanks, by the way, to Scott McLeod. And to Dave, I can't remember Dave's last name, the gentleman we had a chance to talk to before the game, who's covered this team and gave us some insight as to what to expect.
Yeah, he's the sports editor at the St. Ignace newspaper, and we give him credit because he did a great job of filling us in information. He's sitting in seat 3. That's all. That's what we were giving directions over to him. What a great job he did of helping us out, and many thanks to him.
Double-double for Jabari Hendricks. That's his 10th point. Faustin for 3. That will not go. Back out to Galeroy. Faustin. Miller, he wants that 3 so bad, and he has tried so hard. And now Ellis will commit a foul. That still won't send him to the line. 32 seconds to go. Congratulations are in order to Dave Souls and the folks at East Catholic. We had the great pleasure of seeing them in a great game against Holy Redeemer, in which they beat Redeemer in the Catholic League Finals 66-61. They win their 25th game of the year, and so that puts Dave Souls up to 460 wins, Frank, and got to hang in there for a couple more years, and he'll join the career-wise,
he's pretty close to 500 because he
5 years elsewhere.
Yeah, he had some numbers elsewhere. He's truly one of the outstanding coaches, probably second only to Lofton Green for state championships with 7.
Do you know, Frank, that the beauty of high school sports is a camaraderie developed between teammates and broadcast teams? It's a relationship nurtured on the playing field, the locker room, and most importantly in the classroom. The time that youngsters spend together in school sports on and off the playing field contributes to the unique extracurricular experience. High school sports, it's a privilege to play, and I can tell you, if I may add to my copy, that it is always a privilege to announce, and that's a great transition, I know, for you from the coaching floor to the broadcast booth, and we have a lot of fun doing these games. And thank the MHSAA and Advanced Video Service for allowing us to fulfill dreams.
Well, and we talk about what an honor it is to be involved with high school athletics. It's still the pure form of competition, and they come out, the kids play their hearts out, and you see young men dive for balls and do things, and I mean, they're just doing it for the love of the game and the love of the competing.
Now let's tell you that the bench has been cleared, so let's give you everybody that's out there. Brandon Norman and Ken Moultrie are out there along with Mike Davis. See if they brought Washington out. No, they didn't. Mike White is in the basketball game as well. James Geyer is out there, and Mike Dennis has checked in for DeTour. Don't want to miss anybody. I try not to anyway. Tim Reinbold is checked in, number 51. White loses the basketball, but it's picked back up there by Mike Davis. Got it inside. The only starter that's still out there, Lawrence Hall. Hope we got everybody. Again, Cliff Breiler was in there as well, and hopefully before the horn hit, we got everybody in. So that's going to do it, at least for the final score. And we look at East Catholic, who came out and just played their game, Frank, and really DeTour could not match what they were doing, and every time DeTour looked like they were trying to, East Catholic had even an answer for the answer.
Well, East Catholic's been in those wars in the inner city of Detroit. They played the PSL teams. They played the top echelon of the Catholic League in Detroit, and they hold in there with the best of them. And they know their capabilities, and they know that if they stay within themselves, they're pretty tough to beat.
Well, the other thing too, Frank, we got to give the old line there's about 730 schools that have basketball programs in the high school wars, and only 4 of them will walk away with a championship. But getting there, as they say, is half the fun. And I'll tell you something, the coaches, maybe it'll take a while for it to sink into the players, you know, because you get here, you may as well take it to the next level.
Well, and what a great job they've done at DeTour. They've built that program up to the last 3 years, or they've just been, you know, tenacious. They've made it to the finals twice. They've been really strong, and their program's in the right direction, and they'll be a force in that Upper Peninsula for a long time to come.
Still a relatively young team as well. And so we say from the Breslin Center on the campus of Michigan State University, our final score in this Class D semifinal, the Chargers of Detroit East Catholic 58 and the DeTour Raiders 36. And so for Frank Plecas and our hardworking advanced video crew, Jim Shafran saying so long, everybody.